Welcome to spring planting on the farm. This is one of our busiest seasons. Let's take a minute to meet the guys who drive the tractors. Meet Rocky and Dave and Lee and Tim. They work together to ensure all of our corn and grass gets planted on time. They must transform this hard compacted dirt into the loosened stuff you see here. Look at the difference. Now let's see the tractors in action and how they transform the soil. They must first, using their attachments that have long, chisel-shaped teeth, break up the top layer of soil into larger chunks. Now let's take a look from inside the tractor. Then the field must be roller harrowed, which helps to break up the larger clumps of dirt into smaller pieces to prepare for planting. And now it's time to plant some corn. Look at those teeth on those little round discs. Those are used to open up the soil, allow the seed to be planted, and then once the seed is planted, they cover the seed back up with dirt. We also plant new grass every year. Here is the start of this year's seeding. It will eventually become a green, lush field. We must spread manure on our land each year to give the soil the nutrients it needs to grow our crops. Let's take a look at how it gets from the pit to the field. It must first be agitated so it's nice and soupy and easy to pump. And then it's pumped into our trucks, which can haul 9,000 gallons of manure at a time, then drive to the field and be spread. We also utilize a new technology called a drag line system. This allows us to have a pump and motor that stay directly at the manure pit and bring the manure to the field. We must first drive the tractor across the field to lay out the 1 mile of hose. And then the tractor is able to just drive across the field continuously, spreading manure, and never has to go back to the farm to fill up like a truck does. Utilizing the dragline system, we can spread manure at over 1,000 gallons per minute. Even newer technologies allow us to inject the manure directly into the soil. Now let's look at another way we can reuse manure on the farm. Would you believe me if I told you this manure was going to get turned into bedding for our cows? Well, using these 2 pumps and motors, we must first agitate the manure so it's nice and soupy, so it can be pumped into these white tubes into this little tank, which flows into the screw press. And then the job of the screw press is to squeeze out all the liquids from the manure, leaving us with these dry solids. These are what we call manure solids, which are the dry, fibrous particles of manure. They must first travel up the conveyor belt. Into the other room they'll go, where they'll get dumped into a big pile and then put underneath our cows as bedding. Now let's look at some ways we are able to reuse water. This is the plate cooler, which uses cold water to help cool down our milk. But once it gets too warm, it's considered waste. This wastewater can be used to hose down our floors or provide drinking water for our cows. We also have this flush tank, which utilizes wastewater from the milking system wash, and it's used to help keep our floors in the barn clean. We hope you've enjoyed getting to see us work in the fields and see some of the technologies we are able to use that help us reuse resources on the farm and reduce our carbon footprint. We work hard every day to be environmentally friendly and sustainable for future generations. We care as much about the environment as we do about the cows.